Hi guys, I hope you're all having a lovely Wednesday and having a brilliant week. I just wanted to do a little live recording for you about advent calendars because we're getting to that time of year, July, where it all starts to kick off and go a little bit crazy for advent calendars. I know some of you have got sort of 30 plus orders for these already, which is just incredible and insane. So I just wanted to do a little bit of a video on them, what's really good about them, what's not good about them, what type of books you should be using for what ages, and how to make the most of them. Personally, I have to say I'm not a big fan of doing advent calendars. I hate wrapping. So for me, it feels like a lot of labour for not huge amounts of money. However, they are brilliant for getting your volume up. So if you're going for any incentives like your kit boost, your kit refund, if you're going for a team lead promotion, if you're going for the banner incentive or the unicorn incentive, they're really good to get your volume in. If you're a team leader and you need your volume to get paid, again, fantastic. If you want to be active every month, you're going for the 100 club, again, fantastic way to get volume in. So what we tend to do for advent calendars is we tend to use box sets, things like these. So I'm going to talk through the different box sets we have and sort of the ages they're linked for. You see lots of advents being priced at about £24–25, working out £1 a book. That's great if you're using these box sets, but make sure your customers know what they're getting. When we first started doing advents back in 2016, head office got loads of complaints because people didn't get books they were expecting, they weren't to the quality they were expecting, they weren't wrapped well. So it's really vital that you take these orders and treat them with professionalism. I can't stress that enough. I think it's really important that you send a list of all the books, what they're going to be getting, with pictures if preferable, and make sure the customer knows exactly what they're getting, so they can't come back to you at all later and them saying, oh, I didn't think it was going to be like this. Make sure you choose a courier that you know is reliable. Make sure you package them perfectly so they're not going to get ripped or damaged on the way. The last thing anyone wants is to receive 24 books with ripped wrapping paper. It's just not on. So make sure you do a good job. Your customer service and your products is why people come back and buy from you. So you've got the opportunity, if you have 50 advent calendars going out, to have 50 customers for life who will come back and order from you every single year if you do an amazing job. If you send something out because you're rushed wrapping that doesn't look good, it's not going to do like that. So make sure you get your wrapping done early, and make sure you know your products, you know the books, you know what you're sending out to the people. Make sure your customer knows exactly what they're getting as well. So some of the books we use are phonics books. They work out, I think they're £24.99 for 20 books. They work out to over £1 a book. So again, you don't want to be if most of your books are going to be these, you want to be pricing above £24. Don't be scared to price more. Just let people know the reasons you're offering different tiers of pricing. I would definitely offer like a premium one. People have paid up to £100 for advents before. Some people have lots and lots of money. Some people want to get good products, and make sure you speak to your customer really. So these are your phonics ones. Perfect if you've got babies, toddlers, going into preschool age. Absolutely brilliant books, fantastic to read, fantastic for readers to read to themselves, and really nice fun story books. If you are doing one for a baby, again, I'd probably want to put in some That's Not My books and some other books which are more appropriate. Black and white reading library if they're really young babies. And again, that's going to cost more, so talk with your customers about that. I'll put that back in a minute. So that's your phonics book. And all these sets are in stock at the moment, which is why this is a really good time to start doing this. One, people are wanting to get in ahead of their Christmas shopping. Why it's July, they feel they can afford a book advent. When it gets to Christmas and they're trying to buy everything else, it feels like they can't really afford a book advent. So now is a good time. Moving on is your first reading library. These reading libraries are a vital part of your kit. If you haven't got a set of each in, I would highly recommend ordering a set of each in and getting to know them, because they are brilliant at stores. They're one of our best sellers. It's why they often go out of stock hold on, my door's just, bear with me 1 second. So, as I was saying, they're a key piece of your kit. They sell really well. They're also what we use for tombolas as well. So getting these in and getting to know them is fantastic. Getting your kids to do videos of them, you doing videos of them, brilliant. So the first one has 50 books in, and they start with these green ones down here, then the yellow, then the purple, and they start with a few words for grown-ups to read, and then a few little CVC phonic sounding out words that the children can read. And this progresses, and they move up and introduce more words, more sounds, until they get to reading books fully on their own. So it really is your complete learn to read system. My third child learned to read with this system. I'll be introducing it soon to Lucy. We're just starting to get to learn her letters now. And this is what we'll be using pretty much to help her learn to read. So it's an absolutely key piece of kit. And again, it works out about 60p a book. So this is great if you are using books for under £1, because you want to do 24 books for £24. Following on from this one is the red reading library. And that one I don't have in stock. It's the only one I seem to have not got. So that one has some of these purple ones and moves on to some of these red ones as well. So it's just taking it on that little bit further. And again, that has 50 books in. And it just progresses. So when they've had this library, if they want to continue reading, they move on to the red one. So it just takes it up the age bracket, really. You're moving into year 1, end of reception, year 1. You're looking at your red reading library. Depending on their reading level, moving into year 2 as well. Some really nice stories in it. So again, it's just knowing the child you're sending books out to, knowing their reading ability, having that conversation with the parents. You want to make sure you're getting the best you can for them. So it may be worth having like a little questionnaire that you send your customer so you can get to know their child, and then you can send over the books that you think are going to be best. Moving on from the red one is the reading collection. This is probably my favourite out of the collection. I don't know, the first one might be my favourite. In terms of story rise, this is my favourite. They introduced it a couple of years ago, and what I love is it's full of classic tales. So it actually follows the curriculum and things that they need to know, because actually classic stories and classic tales are in the curriculum. So it's got things like the Billy Bates Great Scruff. It's got Wizard of Oz, Wind in the Willows, Black Beauty, Hamlet, Alice in Wonderland, Beauty and the Beast, Story of Heidi, Secret Garden, Romeo and Juliet, The Railway Children, Macbeth, Pinocchio. So all these fantastic stories that they love and they will follow the curriculum with. There's one in here, I think this might be our set, so it might not be in it, called Burglar's Breakfast, which my 7-year-old, I think he was 5 or 6 when we first got this set, absolutely loved. He couldn't put that book down. He's done book reports on it for school, adores it. So these ones only have 40 books in instead of the 50. So works out slightly more. It's still under £1 per book, but works out slightly more than the 60p in the 50 books. And again, it's slightly older range. Following on from that one is our reading collection, the purple one. Again, 40 books. You can see they're all a bit thicker though, so you get more pages in those books. It's a bigger set because of that. And again, it's got classic things like Robin Hood, Stories of Olympics, William Shakespeare, Frankenstein, Anne Frank. Much more towards Key Stage 2 children. So that's your Key Stage 2 children if you want to put books in Advent. I will say though, this is why it's really important you send the information to the customers, because they're great and it's fantastic, they want to read them, but there's some 10-year-olds out there who would get a book about William Shakespeare and go, really, that's meant to be a present? I don't think so. So just make sure you're aware of what you're sending them. The other set I would consider using is your science box set. So these are really fantastic books. They work out, I think, at £2 a book in the current offer. So again, slightly more expensive if you're doing £1 a book. But I would say it's worth the extra money to have some of these in them. The beginner series are fantastic. They're worth £7.99 each. So really good value if you're putting things like this. They're hardback as well. They just make a bit of a difference and make your advent calendar stand out a little bit better. And actually, most children are really interested in these. They like to know about sun and moons and storms, and even reluctant readers are quite interested to pick up and put those together. So there are all the box sets that I can think of that are fantastic to use. As I say, it comes down to your customer service, how well you're putting these together and making sure you're getting yourself organised with them. You need to make lists. You need to know what books each customer is having. You need to make the most out of the sets, and you need to have them wrapped early. I can't stress it enough. So many people end up into December with 20, 30 box advent calendars they need to wrap and ship, and they're running out of time and they don't know what to do. And I don't want that to happen to you. Make sure when you get your order, you get your books and you wrap it. You also don't want to take people's money and not order the book straight away. The last thing you want is to not be able to get these box sets in a couple of months' time. There is loads and loads of stock of them at the moment. So fingers crossed this year we're not going to run out, but previous years as we've got towards Christmas, they have sold out. So really that's it. And as I say, don't be scared to go with a higher price. Put a premium product together so you can say to your customers, this is your standard one for this price. However, if you want a better selection of books, if someone asks for an advent calendar for an older child, sort of a 12-year-old, we have lots and lots of fiction books available. You can put a few of those reading sections in there and some of those beginner's science. But I would say mostly you want to go for fiction. I'd say it's going to be a much higher price and go with that. If you're looking to go for a team leader promotion, I would absolutely start pushing these now. Just make sure you know you're going to have to wrap them and you're going to have to post them. Another option is selling them as DIY sets. So just send the books or just send them a box set and get them to wrap their own ones. A cheaper price, they can wrap their own books. You can just send the books to them to save them getting damaged in the post or anything like that. So there's a few options around. They are brilliant for getting volume in. You do make money on them as long as you're careful and you price it up and you know exactly what you're doing. So they are fantastic. But if you don't like wrapping like me, they're probably not for you. Other than that, go for it. Best way to start getting orders from them is using your Facebook page, your Facebook group, putting them on selling sites, booking in a Facebook party for yourself or some friends, and making sure you advertise them in that Facebook party. So that's probably all I've got to say on them at the moment. If I think of anything else, I will pop on and let you know. Other than that, I think that's everything I've had to say. So I hope you enjoy getting your advent calendars out there. I know children love these. They love opening them up for Christmas. So it really is a fantastic way. So thank you.